Hey everybody, and welcome back to Blender. In this video we're going to look at setting up our first render. Before I get started, a huge thank you to everyone for subscribing and hitting that notification icon. That really helps me out. And of course an even bigger thank you to my members and patrons. Your names will be running across the bottom of the screen at the end of the video. So let's jump right into this then. As anyone who has played with Das Studio, if you're one of my friends who's been with me for a long time since I've been doing Das Studio videos, knows that rendering can be a very long drawn out process, but Blender has some nifty tricks and ways to speed up the process, which we are going to look at. So once we're into our camera mode, which we achieved by hitting 0 on our number pad, we can see a preview of what our render is going to look like. And if we come over here into the properties pane, we can actually see a render property tab there, and we can actually change some of the properties. Now there's a lot of stuff here that we can see, and we're going to play around with some of this stuff, but more or less we're just going to be doing the basics, and we'll cover other things later on. So the first thing we can do is turn on our Ambient Occlusion, and that allows us to adjust our shadows a little bit, and we can find a nice solid point for there. Now of course we can turn on bloom, which affects how much of our light is going to be blown out by our camera. What we can also do is we can turn on things like motion blur. We can actually increase our shadows, or we can make them crisper, or we can make them softer, and we can play with color management, or we can change a film as well. We can adjust that to be transparent if we have something in the scene that's not got an object or a sky mesh in front of it. We don't have that issue, so we don't need to turn on that particular one. And then if we come into the option below it, which is our output properties, we can actually adjust our resolutions. If we're doing an animation, we can actually set up our frame start and our end frame, and how many frames the animation is going to skip forward each time, and of course our frames per second. We can also set our file name, our file extensions. We can choose which file formats we want to output to. So if we wanted to create our output file relative to the file that we're currently working with, so if we press // and then what we can do is we can actually hit the search button, and it will take us to the area that we're working in. Now I'm not really overly bothered about that. We're working on the C drive at the moment, so we can hit accept there. And what we can also do is we can change our output to say MPEG video, and then if you do that, a whole bunch of other properties will come up. Now obviously I don't necessarily want to do that. I really want to create PNG, so it just comes up with 8-bit or 16-bit color depth, some compression. We can choose to overwrite any existing files with the same file name, and then that will allow us to update any images. I would personally tend to leave this off just to make sure that I don't accidentally render over something that I've already created. And now I'm basically ready to go, so I'm going to come up to the top to the render option, and I'm just going to hit render image, and you can see that F12 would do the same thing. And then here we go. We've got a 1080p image there that I have created, and if you wanted to, if you had a bigger image, you could just go frame all, and then that would bring everything into the frame like so. And presuming that I am happy with the image that I have here, what I can do is I can go to image and image save as, and then it will take me back to that folder that I was working with, and I can save the image out. So this is currently showing as Untitled PNG. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it Blender _ render _ legend .png, and then I can just save that. Boom, and that is good to go. And if you've just been following along with me, congratulations, that is your first render output from Blender. So well done for that, guys. Thanks very much for watching that one, guys. I hope you found that entertaining and informatively. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will see you all in the next episode, but until then, take real good care of yourselves, guys. Bye bye.